One of the things that I do to kind of earn a living in my day job is I run a faith foundation. It's kind of like a think tank that does stuff. You hear about these think tanks on the TV, and people just come and talk. The foundation that I run is an active faith foundation. We promote religious inclusion, religious tolerance, and we encourage people to learn from each other in terms of their religious backgrounds and where they're from. And every year on this day, the 27th of January, we organise, in the city of Bath, we organise the official Holocaust Memorial Day commemorations. Today is the 27th of January, and this year marks the 78th anniversary since the liberation of Auschwitz, which was the largest kind of death camp, concentration camp in Nazi Germany. And I am not Jewish. As far as I'm aware, certainly in this life, I have no family members that were killed or during the Holocaust. But for some reason, I have a real strong desire to raise awareness of it every year. And as I get older and I see hatred and division in society, I feel really passionately about raising awareness of the Holocaust and what happened in Nazi Germany in the 30s and the 40s to lead to the brutal murder and killing and execution of millions of innocent people purely based on their religion or their race or their creed or their background. One of the things, I've always been, it might sound a bit wishy-washy, but I've always believed in inclusion, that everyone's equal and we should be kind to each other, and, everyone has a place in society based irrespective of their background or their skin color or their sexuality or their religious preference. I've always been of that kind of liberal persuasion that everyone should feel welcome. Everyone should feel included in society. And believe it or not, that was one of those first things that attracted me originally, almost 20 years ago, to the Krishna Consciousness movement, to the Hare Krishna tradition, is that strong belief or recognition in we're not the body. That is the central foremost teaching of Krishna Consciousness. Before we kind of try and understand that Krishna is God, that God is a person, that actually we need to understand first that we are not the body. Well, who are we? What is our original constitutional position? Spiritually, we are eternal spiritual beings. And these roles that we've taken on in this life, in this time, male, female, Chinese, Indian, English, Scottish, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, all these labels are just temporary for the here and now, for our time in life now. That is the essence of Krishna consciousness. We are not the body. So therefore it pains me when we see so much infighting and intolerance in the Hare Krishna movement because of our skin color, because of our gender, because of our sexuality. It really, really pains me. We've kind of lost sight, I think, of that central fundamental belief that we are not the body. Because if we really believe that, there would be no hatred, there would be no intolerance, there would be no division in Krishna consciousness, in the Hare Krishna movement. So what can we, as people who are trying to be Krishna conscious, trying to be Hare Krishna devotees, what can we learn from those horrific events of the Holocaust? What can we learn today on Holocaust Memorial Day for our own spiritual lives? Because when we look at the activities of people like Adolf Hitler and other brutal dictators, they definitely see division. They definitely see that a certain religion or a certain group of people or a certain race is inferior to me or inferior to I. Let's not go down that route. Of all the religious traditions in the world, of all the spiritual traditions in the world, we should be the ones shouting the most against intolerance, against division, against abuse, against bullying, against war. We should be the ones shouting the loudest that we are not the body isn't who we really are. And all these reasons that we find to hate each other based on our religion, our background, our sexuality, it has no place in Krishna consciousness. We, as people who are trying to follow a Krishna conscious lifestyle, should be living the life of inclusion, living the life of intolerance, living the life of acceptance of all people, regardless of where they're from, who they are, their background. We need to ensure that the Hare Krishna movement is for everybody, regardless of anything that might possibly divide us. Hare Krishna.